Make it bang.
All right, guys. Hey, this your boy Stogie coming at y'all from Palm Beach, Harley Davidson. First of all, thank you guys for subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate that. Welcome back to the Stogie side, okay? We are back in our Harley kick, and this is kind of like an update on trade values mid-year, in the mid-year edition, okay? So right now is July 19th. This is kind of like the middle of the year. We're 1 month past June, so June is the 6-month mark. Generally, July 1st is kind of like mid-year, and we're going to talk about trades today, okay? Now, trades are a very sensitive subject in the Harley store, right? It's very what my bike is worth versus what the value is. And I tell people all the time that the trade is not what the actual value is, it's what somebody's willing to pay for it, okay? For example, right, in the housing market, if you have a bidding war or if you've ever been in a bidding war on your house, I promise you that is in the seller's interest, okay? You have multiple people wanting the same home, then it becomes a bidding war on it. Well, the same thing happens in the motorcycle industry, and not just Harley either. This is very universal, what I'm about to talk about now. This goes for Honda, Suzuki, Kawasaki, Indian, Polaris, anything with 3 wheels or 2 wheels that you can ride. BMWs, it doesn't matter. Everything, it all applies to this. So, in that housing market, when you have a bidding war in your house, that's a seller's market, okay? What establishes a seller's market, okay? A seller's market is when there is so much, or there's not enough inventory where you have multiple people wanting the same thing, okay? Not enough inventory where multiple people want the same thing. Same thing works in bikes, right? So if it's 10 bikes in here and every dealership around you has 10 bikes, then that means that it is a seller's market. We can charge more. That's when you start getting DSRP. That's what happened in COVID when people start going over the retail price and wanting $5,000 and $8,000 because you couldn't get a car, right? If you wanted one, you had to pay over. Now, what happens when in the real estate market, when there's so many houses on the market, right? When there's so many houses on the market, man, prices start driving down, right? When you have an influx of inventory, the market on the houses goes down. That's how you lose equity in your house or how you lose value in your house. Well, the same thing works in Harley. If you have 3 dealers around you and each one of them have 300 bikes on the floor, man, that is a buyer's market, okay? So I want you to understand the difference between seller's market and buyer's market when it comes to trading in your motorcycle. Now, what market do you think we're in right now? Tell me. I got a hint for you guys. We are definitely in a buyer's market right now. Each dealership has so many leftover 23s that, I mean, like, it's a time and period for you to purchase a motorcycle. If you were ever going to purchase one, it is time now, especially if you don't have anything to trade in. Now, if you have something to trade in, that's when it starts switching to where the dealers really don't want the bikes, right? They'll take it in on trade, but the values are different because, like I said earlier, it's not what your bike is valued at, it's what they're worth paying for. Now, some people say that, you know, you get ripped off by trading in your bike. Well, it really just depends on what the fair market value. Now, who establishes the value of the bike? Because it's certainly not the dealers, right? The used bike market is what determines the value of the bike. if you go on Craigslist, or if you go on Facebook Marketplace, or you go on OfferUp, or you go to these auction websites and you see what these bikes are selling for, you'll have a better appreciation for what these bikes, what the dealers put into these bikes. Okay, so what I wanted to do is to give you a couple of examples of what a value is on a motorcycle. Okay, now I have a 20. Let's look and see. Let's look at some. I pulled it up. Now I use JD Power. Okay, JD Power is the official site. That's where everybody goes to look up bikes. When they're trying to find out a value, they'll go to Harley's Trade. They'll do all kinds of stuff. But let's look up a 2020 Fat Boy. Okay, we're gonna look up a 2020 Fat Boy. So I'm plugging it in right now, and I pop the VIN number into JD Power, and a 2020 Fat Boy right now is going for $10,000. That is crazy. Like, that is, a Fat Boy in 2020 cost you $18,000, give or take. I think it was $17,000, but I know I'm not too far left off. Don't hold me to it. But that is it's actually $10,920. That is what a Fat Boy trade-in would be worth. Now, as you all know, some people do the shell, right? Like, if you over allow, then you can over allow on the price of the bike, and that's kind of where dealers were getting caught up before, where when they're charging over MSRP, they were overinflating your price of your bike, right? That's how they sold you the bike. But the actual cash value for a 2020 Fat Boy, just using that as an example, is $10,920. Now, what happens if you owe $15,000 on that bike, right? So you would have to pay the difference of that $4,000 in order to be able to add on to your new loan, or you would put that down, or you'll pop a credit card on. It just really depends on what you want to do. But the trade values are the trade values. That is what they are selling them for at the auction. Now, some of you might say, well, Stogie, what would the retail price on that be? So after each dealership runs it through the shop, they generally have a pretty decent sized bill. The average bill is maybe $1,000, $1,500, give or take. So if I bought that bike at $10,920 and I put it another $1,000 into it, that's $11,920. Now the retail for this is $14,900. That's what JD Power says I should sell it at. So I have a bike at $11,900. I have the $14,900. So that means the dealer makes a $3,000 profit. Now, certain dealers are different ways and they work different angles, but a $3,000 profit is not a big deal in a Harley store, right? But if you can get it down to maybe $500, $1,000, then you know you win it. Nobody ever pays the asking price for the motorcycle. Like I haven't. I've been working here and I say the bike's $18,000 and say, yes, I'll pay that. Like that has never happened, right? It's always been where they negotiate on the price of the bike. And so when you have that, that's where you make a little money. The used bike market is not really favorable, only because it is heavy. Everybody knows what a used bike is. You can go to JD Power, just like I just did now, and you can look it up, put the VIN number in, or put the model of the bike in, and you can figure out what you should take on your trade, what they should sell your bike for. The dealership makes a couple grand, keep the lights on, take care of their people, and that's, nobody's like getting rich off that, right? So I thought that was pretty cool to explain trade values, right? I wish this was like a live. I should probably do a live on this and see what people would want for, or see what we would give for other bikes. So that was a 2020 Fat Boy. Let's take, you know which bike has taken a really big hit? The Breakout, right? The Breakout took a really big hit. The touring models that are 107s, those, man, those guys have really took a big hit on trades. So let's just look at one. And we're looking at a 2019 Road Glide with with 24,000 miles, okay? A 2019 Road Glide with 24,000 miles. That's not too bad. That is a 5-year-old bike, 24,000 miles means they put maybe 4,500 miles on it a year. Not that bad. That's pretty reasonable. But what do you think a 2019 Road Glide is worth right now? Like, what do you think the actual cash value, like what are they selling for at the auction, right? A 2019, man, you got a 11,600 bike. That's what they're selling for at the auction, right? That has 24,000 miles on it. Now, the retail for that is 16,100, okay? So now, once again, touring bikes are a little bit more because on a 24,000 mile bike, you generally got to do a 20,000 mile service. On a 2019, they probably haven't changed the tires yet. You have to do an inspection. You have to do certain things in order to get the bike prepped and ready for the public. Well, the retail on that bike would be 16,000. Okay, so if I put $2,000 in it, I bought the bike at 11,600. That means I'm 13,600. I sell it for retail at 16,100. Let's see, 13,600 minus 16,100. Oh man, my math is not mathing today. Minus 16,100 equals, that's $2,500 difference, okay? So a dealership makes $2,500 on a bike, move on from it and go from there. So I just want to go over different trade values, how it works, how the market works. Now, I can tell you the best time to buy is when each dealer around you has 200 plus bikes. 200, 250. If they have those many bikes and you can call 3 dealerships around you and all of them got those many bikes, or if they say, man, we got a lot of bikes in house, man, that's the best time to buy. The worst time to buy is probably when it's like 8 bikes on the floor, right? Nobody, or I should say 8, that's a bit exaggerated, but when it's less than 60 bikes, right? 50 bikes, that when it's a small number like that, generally that's a little rough. That's why people go to bigger dealerships that have larger units because they're moving more bikes, right? So I just wanted to go over any trade values, man. You guys hit me up. Let me know what you thought of this video. What do you think your trade is worth, right? I will try to comment if you pop your make, year, and mileage in there. I'll try to pop a trade value in of what we would think of it. And remember, this is the actual cash value. This is not what the dealer is showing you. This is the actual cash value of the bike, right? Like what the bike is really worth. If you were to take that bike and go to the auction and sell that bike, what would they sell it for? What would somebody buy your bike for who's in the bike buying business, right? Not your cousin or your uncle or your niece or your auntie who want to buy the bike and they don't know anything about bikes, and you sell a 2019 for 18,000. You just ripped off your auntie. Like, you just ripped off your uncle, like whoever that is. So, hey man, listen, I don't want to go on a long rant. Hey, I had to bring Pac and Big with me to the show. I hope y'all like Pac and Big. I try to give y'all different ones of my gnomes, and man, I really appreciate y'all. So let's go ahead. Let's have a happy Harley day. Welcome to the Stoker side. Appreciate y'all. What up, though? Let's go.